Hey guys, how are you? In today's session, I decided to record a video about Blazor .NET 6 CRUD operation using ADO.NET and store procedures. Okay, so in this video, basically, I will show you how we can perform the CRUD operations in Blazor .NET 7 using ADO.NET with store procedures. The .NET 7 was released few days ago and it is the latest version of .NET. So we will see the CRUD operation with the latest technology, which is .NET 7 with the Blazor, right? So I will perform all these steps one by one for completing the video, right? So our first step is to create a database, to create a table, and to create store procedures, and then we will move forward step by step. Okay. So I am going to the Microsoft Visual Studio, SQL Server Management Studio, right? No here, let's me create a new database, and the database name should be Blazor CRUD. Yes, it should be should be the DB name. Okay, and now I will create the database. Okay, now here my database created successfully. Now let's me add here a table. I will add a student table, and in the student table I will add some columns like student ID, uh, student first name, last name. Okay, and here should be the email address of the student and gender. Okay, and created on. So these will be the columns of the students table. Now the data type of these column will be integer. For the first name, I will use nvarchar, okay, and its length should be 150. Copy these one, paste here, and paste here also for the email address. The gender should be 10 characters, okay, and for the created on, I will use the date time column, okay. No, this column should not allow null values, and let me also uncheck for the other columns. Okay, I will make the student ID as a primary key, and lets me increment the student ID by 1 automatically when a new record inserted inside the table. Right. Now, if I show you here, I am at the first step. I will create the database, the table, and the store procedure. Right. Now, I will give a name to this table, and the name should be students. Right. Create the database table. Now close this one, just refresh the table and see here whether the table created successfully. Okay, the table created successfully. If I just run a query and see the data inside the table, like historic from students, control A. Okay, now currently we have no record inside the table. Now I will now create the store procedure for inserting the data, for updating, for getting the data, and for deleting the student record. Okay, so I will basically create 3 to 4 store procedure. Okay, now I will first create the store procedure for inserting the data inside the student table. Okay, so use the keyword create and then procedure, and here you have to give the procedure name. Okay, so my procedure name will be uh, right, add new student, and here I will pass some parameter to the store procedure. Okay, and just press enter, type here the keyword as, and then the keyword begin and the keyword and. Okay, now let's me first pass here the parameter to the store procedure. So the parameter will be first name, and it will be n uh, Parshar 150, right? Now let's me also pass the other parameter, okay, and it will be the last name, okay, it will be the email address, right? Now let's me also put here comma, and here we will pass the gender, and here I will pass the, I think these are the enough parameters to the store procedure, right? Now here I will write the insert statement for inserting these parameter to the student table. Whenever we call this store procedure from the Blazor application, then we have to pass these parameter to the store procedure, and then we have to insert the data inside the body of the store procedure. So it is the body of the store procedure, right? Now write here an insert statement, insert into students, and values should be the parameters that we are getting from the store procedure parameter. Okay, so the first column name is first name, last name, email address, and gender and created on. Okay, so these are the columns of the students table. Okay, I will paste here and just append the at the rate symbol. I will get this first name from the store procedure parameter, last name from here, and email address from here, gender from the parameter, and we will get this parameter from the Blazor application. Okay, and for the created on, I will use the SQL Server built-in getDate function. So this function will give us the latest date time. Okay. Now our first store procedure is created successfully. Now let's me comment the store procedure, and I will paste here. Sorry, Control Z. Let's me copy this one and paste here. Uncomment. Okay. Now I will create here the procedure for updating the student record. Update student card. Okay. Now in this store procedure, I will pass all these existing parameter that I am passing to the add new student store procedure, but I will also pass here one additional parameter from the application, and it will be the student ID. Okay, because I want to update a particular student record with the student ID, so I will also pass the student ID from the application, right? Now remove this statement and write here the update statement of SQL for updating the student data. Update students, set uh, first name is equal to first name, last name is equal to last name, and email address is equal to at the rate email address, and gender. Okay, from the gender, where student ID is equal to the student ID. Okay. Now I will update the student's record with the student ID with the student ID that I am getting in the parameter of the store procedure, and I will pause these all parameters from the Blazor application. Right. Now also create the store procedure. Sorry guys, Control Z, run. Incorrect syntax. Okay, let's me copy, execute. Okay. No, Control C, and I will also comment this store procedure because it created successfully. Control V. No, I will create a store procedure for deleting the student data. So my store procedure name will be delete student record. Okay. No, in the parameter of this store procedure, I will just pass a single parameter, a single variable, which will be the student ID, and I will delete the record with this ID from the student table. Okay, delete from students where student ID is equal to the parameter that I am passing to the store procedure. Okay, now run these store procedure. Okay, the store procedure created successfully. Now I will comment this one, and let's me move towards the final store procedure, and it will be the uh, get students card. Okay, and here I will write the select statement, select historic from students, right? No, in this store procedure, I will not pass any parameter. So let's me remove the parameter. Okay, and I will execute now this store procedure. Okay, the store procedure created successfully. Now I have created 4 store procedures. Uh, the add new student for inserting a new row inside the student table, the update student record store procedure for updating the existing record of the store procedure, and the store procedure for deleting the student record, and this one is for getting the list of students. Okay, now let's me check the word file, the steps that we have defined. Now we have created the database, the table, and the store procedure. So our this step is now completed. Okay. Okay. Now our second step is to create the projects, right? And then we will move towards the next steps. So I am going to the Visual Studio, okay, and I am using the 22 edition at this time. So right click, run as administrator. Here I will click on this template. And here let's me select empty project. Is there any option? Empty empty project for, sorry guys, I will add here the Blazor app directly. So Blazor web assembly. So from the list you have to select Blazor WebAssembly app, and you have to add this template. Okay, select this one, and here you have to give the name. So Blazor dot web. Okay, now my application will be saved inside this location. If you want to give another name to the solution, then you can just give a name to the solution. So I will give here a name to the solution, Blazor CRUD app. Okay, no, it will be the solution name. Click on next, and here from the drop down I will select the latest version of .NET, which is 7.0 at this time, right? Now leave all other option as it is and click on create. Guys, I will tell you about each and every step about in the project. I will show you all the steps, all the necessary things. So keep watching the video up to the end, right? So our project created successfully. Now let's me see the structure of the folder. Okay, you can see that here we have all the required file structure and important files. Now let's me run the project whether it's working correctly or not. Okay. So the project created successfully, and you can see that the default template is attached with our project that we have created just in the Visual Studio. Okay. Now go to the Visual Studio and open the Solution Explorer. And here I will now add two more projects. Okay. Now I will now add, I will add the Blazor.server app. So right click, add new project, and select here Blazor server. Okay. Now I will use these Blazor server app for the API's purpose, right? Now select this template, click on next, and give here a name like Blazor.server. Okay. And click on next. Select the .NET 7 version also for this project, and check these one, and select none from the drop down for the authentication type, right? Now click on create. Okay. Now close this template, and here you can see that our second project is also created successfully, the Blazor.server. Now I will just add one another project for our for maintaining the entities, for maintaining the classes of this whole solution, right? Now new project, and here I will select class library. Okay. And here you have to select this option, a project for creating a class library that targets .NET or .NET Standard. And here the project name will be class library. Okay. And click on next, and give here a name to this project like Blazor.shared. Okay, because this project will be shared by both our server and web app. That is why I am keeping the name as Blazor.share. Okay, click next, select .NET 7, click create, and close this class. Okay, and also delete, just give me 1 minute, also delete this class. So here you have basically three projects inside the solution. The Blazor.server, these project will be used for our APIs. Okay. The Blazor.share, in these project, basically we will create our entities, the database, table entities, the data or common entities, and any other type of entities. Okay. And here we have the Blazor.web app. So basically these project will be used um, for our front end. Okay. And I will now give reference of this project in both our server and web app. Now just expand these, the Blazor.web, right click on the dependencies, add project reference, and give here the reference of Blazor.share. Click on OK. Now I will see here the reference of this project. Okay, you can see that the Blazor.share, this project is referenced by Blazor.web. And I will also share the shared project by Blazor.server. Okay, now right click on dependencies, add project reference, select Blazor.share, and click on OK. And just let me see here the project reference. You can see that the Blazor.shared project is also referenced by Blazor.server. Okay. Now let me rebuild the whole solution so that we have no error. Okay. Project created successfully, sorry, rebuilt successfully. Now let me see the notepad file. We have also performed our second step. Now I will create the student entity class. Now copy this one. I'm just copying the name. Okay. Now I will add the student class inside our shared folder for the student table, right, in our database. Now expand this project. Just add a folder with the name models, right? And here in the models, I will add a new class. And the class name should be student entity.cs, right? And here we have successfully added the class. Now just keep is at is public class student entity. Now let's me also add here the properties for the student table. If I just go to the, let's me run a new query, select. historic from students. You can see that we have total 6 columns in the student table. Now I will add attributes in our C sharp class for all these columns. Okay. Now just right click, copy with the header, and go here inside the blazor.web app. Let me stop the application first. Okay. Here I will add the properties for all these column. Copy this one, public int student ID. Just 1 minute. Okay. Now I will add the attribute also for first name, for last name, for email address, for gender, and for creative done. Just remove this line of code, and now I have also to define here the data type. So it will be string, it will also be string, it will be string, and it will be string, and this column will be the datetime, right? Control S and rebuild this project. Sorry, just build this project. Okay, so the project built successfully. Now let me see the notepad file. Okay, so create student entity class. Okay, we have created. So mark this step as done. Okay. Now I will go to the haven't. Okay. Now create ado.net create, update, read, and delete functions. Okay. Now I will create the C sharp functions, and inside each function I will use ado.net for creating a student, for updating a student record, and for reading and deleting a student record. So I will know towards this step, right? Now go to the application and go to the blazor.share folder. Now here, let's me add in the blazor.server. I will just give me 1 minute, guys. In the blazor.share, let's me add a new folder. Here I will add the folder with the name services, and inside this services folder, let's me add a class student services.cs. Okay. Now create this. Our class is created successfully. Now inside the class, let's me define a connection string. Yes, string connection string uh, string dot empty at this time. Okay, and inside the constructor, I will set the value of this connection string. Now copy the class name, and here let's me create the constructor. Okay, changing visibility of class requires restarting the application. Okay. Now here, let's me read the connection string. Private I configuration. Let me see the namespace. Install package. Okay. Use local version. Now I will install this package from the NuGet. And this one and click on install. Click on OK. And let's me go to the project. The package installed successfully. Okay, right click, control dot, and import the namespace. Okay, the namespace imported successfully. No, let me also use here the read only. Okay. I configuration. Copy this line, paste here. Now set the value of the configuration from the parameter that we are getting. Dot get connection string. Yes, and I will pass here just the name of the connection string. Okay. Now set the value of this variable. Okay. Now inside the constructor of this class, basically I am setting the connection string value. Okay. Control S. Now I will set here the connection string. Okay. So I have already copied a connection string just for saving the time. Let's me go here and copy this connection string. Go to the application blazor.crud and go here inside the blazor.server. Okay, and in the app setting.json, let's me paste here the connection string. Okay, so it is the connection string. My server name is this one, and my database name will be Blazor CRUD. Let's copy the name. Okay, and the server user ID is SA and my server password is 123456 at this time, and my connection string is DB connection. Now go to student services and just pass here the connection string name, right? Okay. Now I will add here the create, update, delete and read functions. Okay. No, for this purpose, I have also created the create, update and delete functions so that we can save our time. That is why I have already created. Just copy the functions, go to your application and paste here. Let me import the namespaces. It's showing me that I am missing the SQL uh, client package, the system.data.sql client package. So I will install this package. Okay, install with package manager. Click on this one and install inside your application. I accept. Okay, the package installed successfully. Close this window and let's me import the namespace. Connection string. Okay, just replace me the name of this variable. Okay. Okay. Now here you can see that I imported 4 functions: get all students, add student, update student, and delete student. Now let's me first show you the first function, the get all student. So this function basically will read the data from the student table in the database and then we will show the record inside our page, right? Now you can see that I am just creating a variable of type list. Okay, and it is the student entity variable. Now I will first fill data inside this variable and then I will return from here. Now I am using the SQL connection here, just I am passing the connection string here, right? And you see that we are setting the connection string here inside the constructor of the class, right? Now here I am using the SQL command class, and inside the constructor I am passing the store procedure name and the connection, the SQL connection class object. Okay. Now let's me copy the store procedure name for getting the student data. Okay, get student record, control C, and I will paste here the store procedure name, guys. No, this kind of code is basically the ADO.NET code with store procedure for getting the student data, right? Now here you can see that I am using the command type of store procedure because I am using store procedure. Let's suppose I am using plain text, then I will pass here text, okay? Now at this time I am using store procedure, control S. Now I will execute and then I will read the data one by one, line by line. Now let's me remove this column because I am not using this one. And I will read the student ID, the first name, the last name, the email, the gender, and then the date time. Okay. No, you can see that I just create an object. I am setting the column of this object, and then I am adding in the main list of, of student entity, and then finally I will return the student list. Guys, I think it is enough about this function because I hope you are already familiar with the C sharp. Now let's me move to our second function, the add student. Now this function will basically add a new record inside our table, and it is the store procedure name. Let's me say yes, add new student, copy this one and paste here. Okay. Uh, and here I will pass the parameter first name, last name, email address, and gender. If I see here, first name, last name, email address, and gender. Okay. No, I am not passing these, and let's me remove. Okay. Close this one. It is the procedure for updating the student record. Update student record is the store procedure name. Let's me check. Update student record. Copy this one and paste here. And I will pass these variable, the student ID, first name, last name, email address, and gender. Student ID, first name, last name, email, and gender. Okay. Now let's me close this one. And here I am using these function for deleting the student record. Let's me see the store procedure name. Copy this one and paste here. Okay. Now, or part of creating the ADO .NET functions completed here. Now we have created basically 4 functions for the different CRUD operations, right? Now let's me add here uh, an interface with the name iStudent services inside the student services class, and I will also show you here the steps that we are performing. Create student list page. Okay, so before moving towards this step, let's me also add here an interface, and the interface name will be iStudent services because I am creating for the student service class iStudent services. Okay, click on add, and here uh, I will add the signature of all the classes that I define inside the student services class. Now copy the signature of this one, this signature. I am just copying the signature or definition, Control C, go to the interface and paste here. I just pass here this signature of the functions. Now I will copy this interface and I will inherit my class from the iStudent interface. Basically, I am using the dependency injection concept in this Blazor application. That is why I created the class. Inside the class, I use the I write the complete code, and then I just created an interface for this class. And inside the interface, you know that I declare here just the signature of the functions. Now inside my Blazor.server app, I will just use this interface and not the class in my Blazor.server using the dependency injection, right? Now go to the uh, student.server project, go to the program.cs. Now here I will add the I will register the I student service and student service class. I will just add in here in the services. Okay. No, we can add here like in this way. Copy this line, Control C, and paste here. Now here I have to give the interface name. Okay. And here I have to give the class name. Remove the I. Okay. Now we register our services inside the program.cs of Blazor.server app. Now our fourth step is completed. This one, right? Okay, guys. Now I will move towards our this step for creating the student list page. Okay. Now go to the project and let's me move to the blazor.web, and here go to the pages, and I will add here the student list page. Now just copy this one and paste here. I will rename the existing one uh, students list. Okay, just open this page, and here first of all you have to replace the URL. Okay, students list will be the URL of our page, and let's me give here a title to this page, students list. Okay, and also I will give a title here, this line of code and this line of code. Okay, yes, this one, and here remove all these line of code, just keep this line. Okay, remove this one and also remove this one, right? So I will declare here a variable for the students, right? Now go to your notepad because I have already copied here some code. So I will this variable and this one, right? Uninitialize async. Okay, I will use this function, not this one. Okay, let's me give here a name. I will declare here, sorry guys, a list of student list. Okay, student, and I will set here the value of student list. Okay. Inside the table, let me show you some record like student ID, uh, this one, and here we will show the first name of the student. Okay, the last name of the student, email address, get it done. Sorry, let me show give here a column for the gender, and our final column will be created on. Okay, now here I will use this variable, the student list std, and let's me put here the values for all these columns. At the rate std dot student id. Let me see whether I am doing all the steps in a correct way. Okay, just give me 1 minute. I think I am doing each and every step in a correct way, but I am getting an error. Okay, protected list, student list. Okay, I am using here std dot I think, oh, sorry guys, sorry. I have just to use the correct class name, the student entity. Okay, Control C, paste here, and let's me import the namespace also. Okay, no, I have no to define the column student ID, Control D, and sorry, first name, name, email address, and here I have to give a column for the gender, okay, and the created on right. Now here I will make an API call for getting the student list. First I will comment this code and let's me add a menu first for the student list. So copy this URL and go to the blazor.web app, go to the shared folder, nav menu, and here control D, okay, and I will give here a menu for student list, students list. Let's me run this application and I will show you know the menu. Okay, now we have here the student list. Click on this one and you can see that we have just an empty student list. Now I will fetch record from the database so that we show inside this table. Okay, now close the application and go to the SQL. Now let's me add here mm, a row, two rows to the student table so that we can show. Okay, insert into students, okay, values. I will just add some dummy data, okay, first name, last name, email address, gender, created on, okay, copy these columns. Oh, sorry guys, I have to add the values, okay. So the first name let's should be Noor, the second name should be also should be like it should also be Noor, okay, and the email address should be 123 at the rate test.com, okay, and gender is male, and created on let's we should we use the SQL data and time function, and I will insert this record. Let's me also add one another row, Elena. Uh, Last name should also be Elena, and here let's me give here the email and female. Okay, insert these row. Oh, let's me show the data. Now here we have basically two rows. Now I will display these two row inside our Blazor application, right? Now go to the, just close the nav menu, go also close the program.cs, go to the student list and uncomment this line of code. And here now I will make an API call for getting the student list, okay? Now let's me define here a function, wait, get students list, okay, and I will define this function below here, protected, okay. I will use the async await mechanism, task get student list, okay, and inside this function I will set the value of this variable to something, okay. Now just comment this one at this time. Let's me move towards the top of this page and I will call an API for getting the student list. Now, as I explained earlier, that I will use the Blazor.server app for creating the API. Okay. Now here lets me add a folder with the name controllers. If I just see the name, the right name is controllers. Now copy the name. It is my one another project. Okay. Now I will add here a folder with the name controllers. Okay. Now inside the controller, lets me add an API controller. Okay. And click on this one. Click on API controller, and here I will add an empty API controller. Now give a name to this controller, student uh, sessions controller. Okay. Yes, sorry, the name should be student OPS controller. Yeah, I mean student operations controller. Okay. Click on add. Here I will add an API first, and it will be the HTTP GET. Okay. Now let me add here the API public. Oh, sorry, I will just copy an existing code. Mm, yes, this one. Okay. Uh, Get students list. Okay. Remove this one, and here I will return list of the student. Return. Okay. Now let me create here a variable of type list, and I will pass here the student entity. And I will return this list. But first I have to fill this list from the database. So for the database operation, you know that we have created inside the services on the student services class, where we have different methods. Okay. If I just uh, collapse, you can see that we have the get all students method, right? Now I have to first use the dependency injection inside the controller. Uh, I will use a constructor, and inside the constructor lets me use the interface, the iStudent interface. Okay. Now copy this one, private read only iStudent services, student services. Okay. Now let's me import the namespace. Copy this one, paste here, and just give another name to the variable. Okay. Student services should be equal to the parameter to this one of the constructor. Okay. No, it is basically the dependency injection concept, right? Inside the constructor of the student ops controller, I am just injecting the interface, right? Now copy this one, and here I will read the student list. Students, get all students. Okay. It's giving me an error. Can I please convert? Okay. Go to list. Yes. Then I will read the student list, and I will assign to this variable, and I will return the list from this API. But I will show you just this method. If I go to the implementation, and here you can see that this method is defined inside the student services. Okay. Now go to the student ops controller. Let me also give here a route to my the API, to my this API. So the route will be like API students, then sorry students, and here I have to give a name like get students. I will use this complete path. Just copy this one, go to the notepad. uh, I am here get in the 5 step for creating the student list. Okay, no, I will just copy here the complete path like in this way. We'll also copy this path for making a complete path, and here I will give the base URL. Okay, so for getting the base URL of the Blazor.server app, right click, go to properties, and go to the just to just get the URL of this project. I think I am doing something wrong. No, I will not get here. In the normal SPMVC application, we are getting the URL in like by clicking on the properties and then to get the URL. But here there is no option, so I can also get the URL by just select this one as a startup project and run this Blazor.server. And here I will copy the URL of this project, close. Okay, my complete URL. Okay, copy this complete path. It will be the path to our this API. Okay, for getting the student list. Now go to Blazor.server, go to the pages, the student list, and here I will call this API. Okay, so string API URL is equal to this one. Okay, now here I will use the HTTP client for getting the student record. String, sorry, variable response await HTTP dot get string async. Okay, now here I will pass the URL. Just see here, this method takes the URL as a first parameter, and here I have to pass the URL, API URL. Okay, variable, sorry, response dot think fine. Control S. Just comment this line at this time. Control K C. Now I will select these as a startup project and right click here, properties, and now I will select uh, multiple startup projects. Okay, so I want to run this project and this project at the same time, right? Now I will select this one as start, and I will also select this one as start and click apply and OK. Now when I run the application, this project, the Blazor.server and Blazor.web, both of these projects will be run. Now is my server app, okay, Blazor.server, and it is my Blazor.web app. Now put here a debugger, okay, go to the Blazor.web and click on student list. Just go here, the debugger is hit. No step or you can see that I just get an error. If I show you the error, showing me that access to fetch student list from origin has been blocked by course policy. Okay, these message showing me that I am not able to get the data from the server side app from our blazor.web, because the server app, if I show you my server app, sorry, this one, if I show you my server app, so these server app basically not allowing my blazor.web app due to the course policy. So to bypass this error, I have to add few line of code inside my blazor.server app. Now copy this code, which is I am using this code in one of my another application. So it is basically an e-commerce application with React.js. If you want to get this project, you can just comment in the comment box. Okay. So I have to copy this code, go to your blazor.server app. Yes, blazor.server. As these two kind of things attach when we run the application, if I just stop, okay, no, these things runs. Okay. Go to the program.cs and just head here the code. If project, I just add at the top. Okay, right. No, just add at the top. Control V, and here I have to pass the this variable. Basically, this line of code means that I am allowing any application to access my APIs with any header with any method, okay, from any region. And let's suppose I want to not allow all types of application, then I have just to specify the URL of the application and for which I want to give access to my APIs. Then I will define here the URL with a comma separated, and you have just to uncomment this line. But at this time, I will allow all the applications. So Control S, and you have also to add one another line. If I to the bottom, okay. So you have to also use this line. Just add here and copy these and paste here also. Okay. Now let's we see whether we are getting a hit on our these API or not. Now I will run the application again. It is our web dot blazor dot web app, and it is our blazor dot server. Okay. Now I will click on student list. Step over. It's just return me an error. Okay. It's showing me an error. So for removing this error, I have also to add these two line of code inside my blazor dot server app. Now blazor dot server, go to program.cs. So it is a one-time setting, and after this you have not to add this kind of setting. Um, just add one time. Okay. Remove this line and run the application again. Okay, blazor.server, go to the other app. Basically, we are running two simultaneous apps at the time, the blazor.web, the blazor.server. So click on this one and step or. Okay, you can see that our API is now hitted successfully. Now click on next, and here I have got two rows uh, from the database. The first one and the second one. Now click on continue, and here I have got all the data inside my if I just show you here to first name. Okay, no, Copy this one, go to the google.com and paste here guesting as uh, convert to class list. Okay, me type here like in this way, convert to JSON, HTTP. Okay, I just forget the syntax for converting the API result into JSON. Uh, okay, so we can convert like in this way. Copy this line of code and go to your application. Just paste here. Okay, and here I am getting an error of the application so that we can see does not contain. If I just get async, okay, okay. Now I will get the response body JSON, and I will then convert this JSON into my student list. Okay, student list is equal to JSON convert. Okay, I am missing this library. Now I will install this library into my application. JSON convert. Go to your Blazor.web app, right click on dependency, add project reference, sorry, add new get package, and go here in the browse option and type here for Newton Soft JSON and select the first option and install. So basically these will enable you to convert JSON into list and list kind of data into JSON. Okay, here control dot I am importing the namespace. You can see that the namespace imported successfully. Now I will JSON convert dot deserialize object. Okay, now I am converting the JSON into my student list. Okay, now just pass here the JSON, paste here. Okay, and paste here the list of student entity. Copy the student entity and paste here. Okay, go to the student apps controller, remove the debugger from here and run the application again. Now we will successfully get the student record, I hope at this time. Go to the blazor.web. Okay, click on student, step 4, step 4. And here, let me show you the JSON data. Okay, the response road body. And now I will show you the student list. We have got 2 records. Now let's me remove the debugger and continue. Okay, now you can see that I have just read all the student data from the database successfully, and I am showing here inside the Blazor application. If I go to the database, select, you can see that we have just 2 rows at this time, and I am showing these 2 rows inside my application. Now I am moving towards the next step, which is uh, add student page with functionality. Okay, so this functionality is completed. We got all the students record successfully. Now I will just add a functionality for adding the student record inside the database. Okay, now let's we continue or this step. Go to the application, stop the application, and let's we add a new page. Copy this one, Control C, and paste here. Okay, and rename the page. Add student. Okay, and here give a URL line of code, and these line of code also, yes, these line of code also remove these line of code, okay, and this one also. And here I have to give a title to the page, add student, control C, and also paste here. I will add here a form for the student, right? So I have already a ready-made form. If I just copy from here, copy this form, okay, and paste here. I have to use a variable for the student entity, right? Now copy this one and paste here and rename with student entity, okay? And let me also give here a name student, copy this one and replace with this one. I am using the student entity model. Now let's me replace the other thing with the student, sorry guys, it will be the model name student entity, and I think I am doing a mistake. Control Z, yes, like in this way, okay, copy and paste here. So you have to create an object of student entity, and then you have to pass here as a model, and then just replace for the student dot first name, okay. Also passed here for validation, okay. And here I have to pass for the last name, okay. And here you have to pass also these one for validation of the last name, okay. mm, Student dot first name, okay. And here it is our last name, okay. Copy this one, paste here for email, and for gender, right? Yes, I am getting here an error because the function is not defined at this time. Okay, I am getting the error due to this reason. So I will also define the function email address, and just give here a label address, okay. um, First name, it will be the gender, okay. And finally I will define two functions for the save and cancel, right? So the email address, and it will be my, yes, it will be the last name, okay. And it is the first name. I am still getting an error because I did not define the save user function. No, I will define here the save user function. For error cons are still 80. Cannot convert lambda expression to intended delegate because some of the return types in block are not implicitly converted. Okay. For the cancel, let's me also define here a function. All the errors gone because we have created all the functions successfully. Now I will just pass here some validation like this one. One. Yes, I will pass this one, and let's me define here like if student first name is equal to null, then just return. Otherwise, we will move towards our API and we will create the student record. Okay. So just go to the student entity class and passed here a required attribute on all the required columns. Okay. Search for mm, C sharp required with error message. Copy this one and go to your application, and above the first name just pass this one. Uh, First required, okay, and above the last name is required, and above the email address we have to show the user that email address is required, and for the gender we have to show gender is required, right? Guys, just give me 1 minute. Okay, now run the application again, and let's we see. Sorry guys, I have just to stop the application because I will now add a menu for the add student. Go to shared new menu, and here just add a new menu. Okay, add student, and the URL is I think add student. Okay, Control S, run the application. Okay, now I will go to the add student. Here we have a beautiful form. Now let's me click on save whether the validation file or not. Okay, now these field is also required last name, email address, and email, and we have beautiful type of validation. Now on the cancel, I will just write some other kind of code, but it is not necessary at this time. Now when I click on save, and once all the fields are filled, then I will insert this record inside my database, right? Now go to the Blazor application, and let's me close this one, go to the add student, and can I just define an email type here? Mm, for the email, pass a type. No, there is no way to pass here the type. Okay, no way, no issue. So I have just to define here an API for creating the student record. Okay. Sorry guys, go to the application. Now here I have to define the API for adding the student record. Because I am getting an error. Okay. Now I will define here an API for inserting the student record. So to add a student record, uh, just give me a minute. Okay. Now I will go to the student ops controller, copy this line of code, paste here, and just define here the URL post student. Okay. Uh, Add new student, and I will pass here the student entity as a parameter. Okay, student entity, remove this line of code, okay, and just in the try catch block, I catch exception, okay, and inside the try catch block, let's me control X, control V. I will use the add student function and I will remove the to list, and this function add student requires a parameter student entity. If I just go to the implementation, you can see that this function takes student entity as a parameter, okay. No, it will not return me anything, and here I will return a response like okay, and here I will return an error if something went wrong. Run bad request, okay, and I will return the error message. Also call these API from our add student page. From here, API URL, yes, it will be the API URL, control X, just replace this one, okay. Now here let's me pass the URL, and I will pass the student as a as a parameter to this function, and I will save all the data. Now let's me put here a debugger and also put here a debugger inside the API. Now close the application and run the application again. Okay. Now go to the front end project, to the Blazor web app. Click on add student and let's me put here the data like Abid. Uh, name will be the last name. Abid test at the rate of test.com and gender will be the male. Now click on save. The debugger is hit successfully. Now click on next, 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 and here from this point our API should be hit. Okay. Now click on next. I think we get an error because we did not get a hit on our API. Okay, sorry guys. I have to define the type as a post because I am using the post as JSON. Okay. Now close the application. I will use the HTTP. Start the application again. Head student, uh, Abid, with 123 at the rate test.com, and the gender will be male. Let's me remove this one and click on save. Okay, this field is required. Click on male, save, and next, 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 next. Again, we are not able to. Oh, sorry, guys. I am really sorry. Just give the correct URL. Okay, save. I have to run the application again. Sorry for the inconvenience. Okay. Now add student. Just gave the name Abid 3, Abid 123 at the rate test.com, and here Abid. Sorry guys. For these, for the gender, basically we should use the drop down with two values, male and female. but at this time I'm just using the text boxes. Now click on save. Okay, step over. Okay, our API controller hit it successfully, and let me see here the data. I am getting all the required information, right? Now click on next. Okay, it's mean that the data uh, created successfully. Okay, let me see in the database. Okay, you can see that the row inserted successfully. Now here I will redirect the uh, from our application. If everything successfully insert successfully, then I will redirect to the student list page. So for this I have to use a namespace. The yes, yes, I will use this namespace. Sorry guys, I will inject the navigation manager, and then inside here I will redirect to the I will redirect to our further student list page. Okay, so I can use the navigation manager, stop duplication, and here navigation manager dot uh, SURI, and here I have to pass the URL, which is the students. Okay, I am getting an error. Okay, so let's me copy the navigation manager and see how we can redirect towards the uh, page if we save the data successfully. Just give me 1 minute so that I can see the correct use of the navigation manager. Okay, okay. I think I should use like navigate to. Okay, no save, and I will run the application again. To the student list, add student. Uh, John. The last name should also be John. John at the rate test.com, and here I will pass the gender as male. Click on save. Okay. Now I redirected successfully to the student list, and you can see here the result that the data inserted successfully. Now we have also completed or this step. Okay. Now we have just to write a functionality for deleting the student record and for updating the student record. Okay. Now let's me go to the browser, stop this, close this window and close this window, right? And here I have to search for bootstrap buttons, right? And just copy this button for deleting the record. No, I have to try to copy this one. Now go to your application, go to the student list page, pages, student list, and here I have to add a column for uh, sorry, edit, sorry, delete. Okay, and here just add here the button. Okay. So the button edit successfully. Now just rename the text, delete. Okay. Now I have to write here a function for deleting the student record, right? Just type here a function. Okay. Now let's me add here a function when someone click on the on this button, right? Click. Okay. Now when someone click on this button, I will pass the ID. Okay. Okay. So I have to pass here the function. Sorry guys for the inconvenience. So I have just to pass here the function name. Await. I will use the function name as remove. Sorry, the function name should be delete student. Okay. And here inside the parameter of the function, I will just pass the student ID. Sorry, like in this way. I think I am doing something like in a wrong way. Let's me remove this one. I should use like in this way. Async rate lambda expression. Okay, the arrow function. I have to use the await keyword. Okay, also wait keyword. Okay, and I will pass here the function name delete student, and here I have to pass the student ID std dot student ID. Yes, like in this way. But again I am getting an error here, so let's me check on async. I am using and everything in a right way basically, but still getting some error. Let's me okay, no, it's fine. I have just to define this function below here. Protected async. Okay, and ask the function name is delete student. Okay, and inside the parameter I have to pass the student ID. In student ID. Okay, now you can see that the error cons. Now here I have to write the code for deleting the student record. Now copy just this code from here and paste here inside the student list. Let's me define here. Okay, it will be the URL, and let's me okay, and I will pass here define here a variable for the student entity std. Think I should declare here a async. Okay, is there any option for delete async? Okay, okay, there is an option. Okay, no, I will pass here the I will use the complete URL uh, and then I have to pass the student ID like in this way plus student ID. So it will be my complete URL, and let's me pass this URL, and I will navigate to the student list. But I am missing this namespace, so let's me copy this namespace from here, paste here. Okay. Now when I click on this button, this function will be called, and I will define here a API for deleting the student record, and I will append the student ID, and here I will call the API, and after calling the API I will navigate to the student list page. Now let's me go to the student subcontroller, and let's me define here the API. Okay, the API URL is uh, student. Okay, HTTP delete. Okay, and here I will get the student ID as a parameter. Student ID, and let's me also define here yes, parenthesis I will pass here the student ID. Let's me put here a debugger and run the application whether each and everything works fine or getting some error. Okay, guys, I have to stop the application. Okay, and here I have to call the delete function. Delete student. Okay, remove this one, and here just pass the student ID as a parameter. Okay, and I will return okay, and also remove this line of code. Now run the application. Go to the, it is my servers, the API project, and it is my Blazor.web app. Now go to student list and click on delete. Okay, nothing happens. If I go to my, so let's me refresh the page again. Okay, you can see that the records edit successfully, but we could not navigate successfully to the student list, right? Yes. Just refresh. No, there is no way. So once all the data, when the record edit successfully, I want to navigate to the home page, right? Now refresh. Okay. Now click on delete. I redirected to the home page successfully. Go to the student list. You can see that the record is deleted successfully. Now I have also completed this step. Now we are just one step away uh, to edit, to update the student record. Okay, now I will add here a new button for deleting the student record. Okay, so go to the student list page. Yes, and here just add a new column for updating the student record. Date. Okay, and here I have to also add a button for updating the student record. I will define here a function update navigate to navigate to update student. Okay, and let's me go to the bootstrap, and I will give here the button color as a primary. Edit. Okay, and let's me define this function. Control C, Control V, and here uh, I will I will just copy the name of this function, replace with this one, and I will navigate uh, s- to the student list. Okay, I will navigate to the update student page. Okay, now let's me add this page. Click on add, Control C, paste here, and just replace the name update student. Okay, now we are at the last step, update student, and just define here the URL, update student. Okay, update student will be the title, update student will be the title. Now here I have to first get the student record, and then I will update the existing student record. Okay, now just give me 1 minute so that I can uh, see code for getting the student record. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, right, save user will be the update user. Okay, copy this one and paste here. Okay, so we will use this function for updating the user, and once the student updated successfully, then I will navigate to the student list. But I will add here one another field for the student ID. Okay, role KD student ID, and it will be the student ID. Okay, student ID, student ID. Kind of error I am getting. ID, student ID. Sorry guys, Control Z. I think I did a mistake. So let's me check what kind of error I am getting. Control C, Control V. Yeah, be the student ID. Student ID. Yes, student ID and student ID. And let's me also check. First, I have to close the existing applications. I am getting an error that student each and everything is fine, but again I am getting an error. So let's me. Okay. And here I will check if student ID is less than 1, then I will not insert the record. Okay, now go to the student apps controller, and here copy the line this code. So I will give here a name like update student, update student, and I will also call here the update student function. Okay, now copy the URL, go to the update student, and just replace the URL with update student, and here I will call the API, and if all data insert successfully, then I will navigate to the student list. Okay, now go to the student list, just copy the URL, update student, go to the student list, and I will navigate to the update student. Okay, update student, and here just give me 1 minute. Okay, and here I have to pass the parameter, this one, student list, student ID. And it will be of integer type, and let's we come to the bottom of this page, and here I will get these parameter as a parameter. Sorry, I will get these as a parameter. Let's also define here these parameter, uh, public int student ID. Okay, okay. And here once uh, I will use the unparameter async, and in this function I will first get the student record. Checked it. Okay. Right. Let's ask, and let's meet here a function. The function name will be on parameter sync. Okay. And here I will call the API. Right. Now go to the student list. I will first get the student list, and then I will extract the exact student. Now I will get all the students list. Okay, let's me go here. Student, sorry guys, just give here a name variable student list, and from this student list I will extract the student. Okay, so student list dot where, let's me get the exact student. X dot student id is equal to the parameter that I will get from the URL dot first or default. Okay, so put here a debugger, and let's me run the application. Okay, this is our Blazor server app. Now I will move towards my client side application, the Blazor web student list, and I will click on edit. It redirect me towards our home page. Okay, go to student list. Let's see what kind of things we are getting. Update student. Okay, sorry guys, I have to pass this URL here. API URL. Sorry, this will this will be the um, page URL. Copy and paste here. Just put here a debugger and start the application. Okay, go to student list. Click on edit. Okay. No, I just get the student ID. Next, next, continue, continue. Okay. No, I get the exact data. Now let's me change something like two, like these, like it should be female. Okay. Now click on save. You can see that updated successfully. Now click on this one, edit. Let's me remove the debugger. Click on continue, remove this debugger, click on continue. Okay, now I will update this record. Yes, in this way. Click on save. You can see that this record updated successfully. So our last step also completed successfully. Guys, in this video, in this session, basically we use the edu.net with store procedures in Blazor.net 7 application, and we perform the CRUD operations using edu.net and store procedures. So we have completed the video successfully. Thank you for watching the video, and don't forget to subscribe the channel and like the video. Thank you so much.